The spot market is where you start. It's where you develop your skills, find your rhythm, and build your confidence. But the dispatchers who build serious income over time are the ones who turn spot market transactions into ongoing broker relationships, where certain loads come to you before they ever hit the board. Here's how that happens. Every time you work with a broker and the load goes well, clean pickup, proactive communication, on time delivery, paperwork turned around fast, you've made a deposit in a professional relationship. Most dispatchers stop there. The good ones follow up. After a successful load, a brief follow up message or call goes a long way. Hey, that Chicago to Atlanta load delivered clean yesterday. Appreciate the business. If you've got more freight in that lane, we'd love to stay in rotation. That's it. You're not asking for a favor. You're signaling availability and professionalism in the same breath. Over time, brokers develop a mental list of dispatchers and carriers they trust. When a load comes in that matches a carrier they've worked with before, especially a carrier who has never caused them a problem, they'll call that carrier first before posting. That's the position you want to be in. You get the call before the competition. The rate is typically better because there's less urgency. The relationship is easier because there's established trust. Here's what builds that trust faster than anything else. Consistency. A broker who works with you 3 times and all 3 times the load was covered on time, communication was clean, and paperwork was turned around quickly. That broker will work with you a 4th time without hesitation. Predictability is underrated in this business. In a world where brokers deal with ghost carriers, last-minute cancellations, and unresponsive dispatchers daily, being the dispatcher who does what they say every time is genuinely rare, and rare is valuable. Lane specialization also builds relationships faster. If you consistently cover a specific lane for a specific broker, say Southeast to Midwest every week, that broker will start thinking of your carrier as their go-to for that lane. They'll call you when the load comes in. They might offer a slightly better rate to keep you available rather than risk you taking something else. You become part of their logistics strategy, not just a random carrier on the board. To build these relationships systematically, keep notes on every broker you work with. Their name, their company, the lanes they work, their preferred communication style, how quickly they pay, and whether they've been reasonable on detention and problems. Over time, this becomes a map of your most reliable broker contacts. When you have freight available in a lane you've worked before, you call those contacts first instead of starting from the board. Social media and LinkedIn can also play a role as you grow. Brokers and shippers are professionals with online presences. A brief LinkedIn connection after a successful load interaction is not unusual in this industry. It gives you another touch point and keeps your name in their awareness. Here's the bottom line. The freight market is relationship driven. Technology has made finding loads faster, but it hasn't replaced trust. The dispatcher who brings real value, professional communication, reliable carriers, clean paperwork, and no drama will always have a phone that rings. That closes out Module 3. You've got the cold call, the rate confirmation negotiation, the follow-up protocol, the playbook for difficult brokers, and the strategy for building the relationships that feed your business long-term. Module 4 is where we get into paperwork and compliance, the part of dispatching that most people underestimate until it costs them money. Let's get it right. Module 4, Paperwork and Compliance.